tied to certain indigenous tribes, and I'm not supposed to discuss it.
It's their date, right, that they passed on to you?
Yeah, it is. It's something I can't actually discuss, but there is something about that date that's pretty important. But on the other hand, they feel that the poles shifting themselves is probably going to happen before that.
You want to talk about Comet Holmes again?
What?
The Comet Holmes.
Comet Holmes. Oh, yeah, that's a whole different subject. What was the question on that?
He wanted to know a little bit about this blue star prophecy.
Well, if you really want to know, just go on the internet and just Google Comet Holmes, and you can actually see the photographs of it, which are amazing.
It's blue.
It's blue. It's a big blue ball in the sky, bigger than the sun, which is amazing. And you can. It's all recorded, so you don't even have. You can easily just go on the internet and see it all.
Of all the prophecies you've heard, all of them, from the Mayan prophecy, Hopi, and of course, Hopi, Maya, maybe one of the same, very similar. But worldwide, is there one that stands out the most for you?
Well, they're pretty much in agreement. This is the thing.
That's what's so scary and enlightening at the same time.
I mean, they do have little things that go off the sides of their prophecies, little things that go off that nobody else talks about. But mostly they are the same. I mean, here I am in South Africa, and talking with Credo Mutwa, and he takes me into his garage, and he's got paintings all over. I mean, just to show you how clear these guys are. And this was right after 9/11, and he's got a painting that was done in 1998. It was right already on there on the wall, and it shows the Twin Towers falling.
Sheesh.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And right beside it is another painting done in 1999 showing New York City about 200 feet underwater.
I don't like that one.
And so, the indigenous people prophesize all the time, and from the point of view of pure consciousness and understanding what we were starting to talk about, like in the Torah code or the Bible code, it is pretty clear that every word I'm saying right now has already been written down,
mm-hmm.
and everything that's happened has already happened. But what we have discovered in that work with the Torah code is that there are certain geometrical and mathematical points in time, space, and dimension that you can make changes.
Drunvalo, we're going to St. Louis. Here's the guy who brought you to the program, my buddy Johnny Rose. Hey, Johnny, you got through. Good for you.
Hey, in Lakesh.
Yeah, in Lakesh, and thank you, Johnny.
I saw I watched the 14 parts that you have on YouTube, and I was just in awe, especially when you got to the part in the cave, and you had the ceremony inside the earth, and when he said that you're the ones we've been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
And if you could just describe that a little bit for our Coast to Coast audience. Coast to Coast is such a great group of people. George is like George and Art. And
this was a moment. This is out of this is not in The Serpent of Light. It would be a book that comes after that, the sequel to it. But
which I don't have.
No, it hasn't been written yet. I mean, I turned in the manuscript on June of 2007, and in July of 2007, 1 month later, Don Alejandro Cerrillo and his wife Elizabeth, who are the heads of the Mayan nation, came to Sedona and wanted to have a meeting with me, and that's when they said that that the Mayan prophecy says that it's time for them to recollect and remember all of their knowledge and memories and information and their wisdom, and that the world would be watching when this took place. And so he asked me to get 60 people from all over the world. He wanted them from all the continents, and to bring them to Guatemala. Well, I did, and we ended up being from 23 countries and from all the continents. And through a long process, which I think I don't remember how much I talked about on there, because when I'm talking, I'm just talking. But at one point, they took us into this cave, which goes 28 kilometers into the earth.
Wow.
And it was what the Native Americans here call the Sipapu, which is the place where they came from inside the earth to the outside. All the indigenous people believe they came from inside the earth.
Inside first, yeah.
Yes, and so do the Mayans. And so this was the cave that I believe where that was. And anyway, he took us through many different initiations, ceremonies, and each time he was looking for signs that had to come from Mother Nature. Something you couldn't control. Each time there would be condors or eagles or something floating right over the top of the ceremony. There was different things that were happening. And eventually he took us way inside this cave into this amazing place where there's a little, the roof of the cave had broken away and a little tiny beam of light was coming in. It looked very magical. And there we did this ceremony, and whatever happened in that ceremony, he then took us deeper into the caves where he actually initiated us into their family. And later I was back in a restaurant with everybody. There was 60 people, and part of the Mayan Council was there. So the Mayan Council was sitting at a table along with his wife, Don Alejandro and Elizabeth, and that's when he told me, he said, we've had two other groups come here, but the signs never appeared, and so we knew they weren't the right ones. But everything appeared. In fact, he said even more than they expected, and he knew in his heart that we were the ones that fulfilled the prophecy. And he started crying, and Rufino started crying, and I started crying. I couldn't help it. And that's when we knew there was we had done something right.
Did they find you, or did you find them?
No, they came to me.
They came to you.
But I've been with the Mayans for a really long time, since 1985, and been doing. In fact, who's Botsman, who was just here, he was going back to 1995 when we did ceremony at Chichen Itza, and I've just asked nothing from them. I'm just trying to help them because I believe they're important in the world's equation.
When I had David Icke on some time ago, I asked him at what point in his career, in his life, did all this happen, where he knew what his mission was, what his goal was, and then the world started to notice. How about you? When did this happen for you? And when did when I say they, the masses, start to notice you?
I don't really know. I've just been doing this forever. Seems like
you've been out there then a long time.
Yeah, I've been teaching since 1984. But for me, I knew something. A long time ago, way back into 1971, I think it was. I decided. I just got out of college and graduated at Berkeley, and I was trying to understand what was going on. I had fought in Vietnam, and I knew that that was believe it or not, that's the first place I found love.
Really?
I was living with the Vietnamese in their homes, and I had never seen the level of love that was there. It shook me up so much that when I came back and went to college, I wanted to find out what was going on in the world, because it wasn't what
you thought. Yeah.
What I thought, exactly. And so in 1971, I decided to start studying meditation, and I was studying from a Hindu guru who was teaching me through mantra. And my wife and I were just doing this, and we were really serious. We made white silk robes with hoods and all this kind of stuff.
You went all out.
Oh, yeah. And we were in there, and we're sitting in our living room meditating, and one day these two spheres of light, they were about the size of basketballs. One was a ultraviolet color, and the other was a bright green, came right up to us within about 2 feet away from our face, and this voice came inside my head and said, something like, we are not separate from you. We are you on another level of existence. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And they are still with me today.
Great.
And,
well, you've touched a lot of people.
Well, they would give me the name, address, and phone number of a teacher, somebody I'd never, they would write down the name, address, and phone number, and they'd say, call this person, they have something to teach you. And I'd call them up.